Here's my video in the background. So I just talked about my flight situation, which batteries I have, which quadcopters I'm flying, and now I'm going to try to keep it very brief and talk about some decisions that I've made about the future of my flight progression. So I'm not going to get a tiny Whoop drone yet. I want some tiny mini drones, micro drones. I think that they are an important part of every pilot's development, and I absolutely agree. They're great because you don't need a lot of transportation to get a lot of great locations to fly. So the thing about it is I perceive that tiny drones are actually more difficult to fly than 250 size quads in the beginning. So small drones will have some aspects about them that will make them easier to perform very complicated stunts on once you can grasp the simple balance of the vehicle. However, keeping the vehicle in the air is actually more difficult because the more stable, more significant mass of 250 size quads, they are easier to keep in the air for beginner maneuvers. Another thing is that this might break, and even though I've got some extra arms and I can buy motors, it's frustrating when something breaks and it might be crippling for the day. And I've invested in batteries for it, so I need a backup in order to even have this one. So I struggle to justify with my poverty level income buying a whole bunch of batteries so I can fly all day on just this copter. So I ordered an $85 kit that will have everything I need to build another copter of about similar quality, although in similar size, although it'll be different. It's a QAV 250 kit that has all the cutaways in the carbon arms and body so that it's lighter. I don't know what it's going to be like. I'm sure it's going to be so different that I'm hoping for another Racer 250 and it won't be, but I know that. And actually I'm looking forward to having something that's marginally different but roughly the same, because that'll give me a bit of skill development in some other areas that are so closely related that it won't be an extreme switch. It'll be a minor variation. So I do plan on looking into getting into all these tiny drones and stuff, but for the time being I am limited to my one area of investment, which is more expensive because of the size and because of the areas are limited to fly in. I have to spend a lot more time in transit. But I'm hoping that my Sima X5 Munchkin will solve some of those problems for me once I figure out if this battery charging is going to make the camera work right. And then I'll be able to fly still, pretty close to home, minimal transit, and it's challenging because the copter is so light and I need to tune the PIDs, and it's hard to say. There's just a whole bunch of things about it. It might turn out to be a really great thing. It might just always be a little bit of a challenge to fly, especially in the wind. This is getting easier, and I couldn't see putting it down in lieu of a tiny drone. Tiny drones, maybe if I had like a proper house, but this room is my whole space. That's mine. And the room that's like the living room is not much bigger. It's about the same. So I'd still be flying outside, and it would still be a little more room, and I knew I could get a handle on it and start flying at FPV pretty quickly. But, there's a lot of people living in a very small place here, and I'm already, kind of pushing the limit on my noise and stuff like that. So I need to go somewhere else anyways, and then at that time I want to fly something that has some pretty good power.